Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. The record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Friday, the 13th of January 2023, right here in the Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you are a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, including using your indicators when navigating a roundabout, including maintaining the proper distance between the vehicle your vehicle and the vehicle that is in front of you. That is to ensure that you have sufficient time to react to any situation that may arise. Also, checking when you're changing lanes or positioning yourself early in the lane that you need to be in so that you don't have to make any last-minute changes as well. All of those things and many, many more will help to make the roads of the Cayman Islands much safer for all of those who use our roads as well. So again, by following the rules of the road, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. Live your best life and make sure your family can too, are the words of advice being given by Mr. Michael Webster from the life insurance agents at Cayman Insurance Center. And we will talk about some of those persons who are celebrating a birthday today in a while as well. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. We have a toll-free number that's still being worked on, right, Miss Susan? No, those issues haven't been resolved yet. So that toll-free number, if it were operational, would be 1-800-534-8255. And it will work for some callers. Others it won't work for, depending on the type of service that you have for your phone. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. You can email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky, or if you choose, WhatsApp us 925-3261. You can also follow us on YouTube. You do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. You can follow us on Facebook as well. So there are many ways of following us or contacting us as well, and we would urge you to do that. So again, to remind you that today's birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, whose advice to you is live your best life and make sure that your family can also live their best life. Today's birthdays coming from Facebook. We see, well, first of all, belated happy birthday to Dr. Steve McPhail. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. So I didn't mention it on Wednesday. Didn't want to preempt it. Preferred to do a belated happy birthday to him as well. And we hope and we trust, we wish him continued good health and prosperity and all of the good things that go along with that as well. And we know that Dr. McPhail takes care of his health. He was pointing out to me that 2 times per year he has his full medical, physical checkup as well. So he's quite conscious of living a healthy lifestyle. So again, Dr. McPhail, happy belated birthday to you. Others celebrating a birthday today, Mr. Raymond Hides, Miss Katie Martin, Mrs. Daphne Solomon. I want to wish Miss Daphne a happy birthday as well. And of course, her husband, Ned Solomon, will have his birthday coming up in February the 13th. Ned's birthday as well. So Miss Daphne, happy birthday to you. Mr. Victor Johnson, Miss Julene Black, Ashley Ebanks, and Shanna Manderson, all celebrating birthdays today, and we want to wish them all a happy birthday. And tomorrow, Miss Charlotte Jackson will be celebrating her birthday on January the 14th. We want to wish her a happy birthday as well. And of course, we know Mr. Alan Moore, he is coming up on January the 23rd. Mr. Mark Scotland, January the 26th. Miss Bessie Thompson, Saturday, January the 28th. Our good friend and cyclist, Mr. Norman Joseph, Sunday, January the 29th. As well. So we have many birthdays coming up. February, we have Mr. Ralston Anglin, Mr. Minister Chris Saunders, Clerk of Cabinet, Miss Kim Bullings, GIS employee, Mr. Lenford Wilkes, Mr. Lloyd Mills, former employee at Uncle Bill's years ago, now with the U.S., in the U.S. as a resident, continues to cycle over there as well. And I think he's a retired or maybe still active in the military as well. Mr. Gregory Rivers, February the 21st. Mr. Linford Pearson, February the 24th as well. So We have many birthdays to look forward to in February as well. Okay. No guests in the studio. Minister J. Ebanks had planned on coming in, but had other commitments that he had to take care of. Okay, we have, I've been told also that Isley Ebanks Powell is also celebrating a birthday today. Isley Powell Ebanks celebrating a birthday today. We want to be thankful for those, and again to remind you that the birthday shout-outs proudly brought to you in this segment, proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, and he reminds you to live your best life and make sure your family can too. So we want to thank all of those who shared the birthday information with us as well. We are going to take a commercial break. When we return, I will share with you the Minister for Health and Wellness's statement as it regards to the opening of the mental health facility. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
The Wesleyan Ministry Society saw its rise between 1837 and 1844. The central figure to the movement was Reverend James Atkins, with his opening visit in May of 1837. Now, while Reverend Atkins praised his predecessor, Reverend David Wilson, on his friendly demeanor, Reverend Atkins did not express content with his other views. In his writings to the Wesleyan Ministry House in London, Reverend Atkins wrote of the conditions of the churches and his concern of the spiritual condition of the people, saying they were living without God or hope in the world. Atkins also emphasized his contempt for the culture and physical differences which were still in place from the former masters compared to their former slaves.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
They say you only live once. I say you only die once, but you live every day. I'm Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, longtime supporter of Radio Cayman. Live your life, my friends. Happiness is in the journey, not the destination. When you're ready, I'm here to support you with the best financial decisions for your family's future. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster, the sure way to protect your family. Call me when you're ready at 925-5433. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets.
Think life insurance. At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
J and Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at J and Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any J and Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable J and Money. J and Money, touching down again. J and Money, ranga to la friend.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio, but we have lots of things to talk about this morning. I'm also reminded that Mrs. Jazz Pitcairn, she celebrated a birthday on the 11th, one day before Dr. Steve McField's birthday as well, and also that she starts filming today. As well. You remember we had her on the show here. She's doing this short film about Hurricane Ivan and having it viewed from the lens of, or her lens focusing on a woman being at home by herself with her family and everything. So we're looking forward to that. I may not have explained the plot and stuff like that all that well, but we wish her, all the best. And so she starts filming today, and belated happy birthday to you, Miss Jazz Pitcairn, as well. Folks, we have a caller, and I'm going to take that caller shortly. But again, want to remind you, send your information in about birthdays, family members or friends who may be celebrating birthdays, because we have this segment of the show that has been proudly sponsored by life insurance agent Mr. Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. Many of you talk about, well, we would like to go back to the good old days, and of course there are many people who say, we can't really go back there because we have we have moved forward since, but we can continue to do some of the things that we used to do in those days. And I reminded you when we were starting this segment that when we didn't have local radio here, we relied on Bonaire, Netherlands Antilles. I think there was one coming out of Quito, Ecuador as well, and the seamen would family members would send greetings to their families at sea, and even families at home as well. So that is what Radio Cayman is doing for you. We're bringing you back at least to that nostalgic era in the Cayman Islands when that took place. Because yes, some of you are using social media platforms, whatever it is, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, to communicate. And, of course, Facebook has that birthday page on there and stuff like that. But we have it here at Radio Cayman for you as well. So if you want to publicly acknowledge your family member, and some people like to hear their names being called on radio and stuff like that, nothing wrong with that, as well. Take advantage of it. Send those messages in early to us, And we have a 15-minute segment from 7:30 until 7:45. And if we receive any after that, we acknowledge them as well whenever we can. So this little portion that is seeking to take you back in time in the Cayman Islands, I urge you, take advantage of it, because there is no other radio station, no other platform that is doing it the way that we do it here on Radio Cayman. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you? Happy New Year to you.
Not too bad. Happy New Year to you too. I'm not going to be able to say all I want to say, so I think I better call back.
Well, you'll have 6 minutes to do so. 6 minutes.
Oh. Wow. This traffic in Smith Road over there, the red light. The traffic there is in the center of the road, turning left and right, when the other ones have to go straight. Everybody's trying to get out and not using the time that the light is giving them. When the light is finished with those guys, they ain't got no other choice but to stay where they are.
What location? What location?
Smith Road over the red light.
Okay, yeah.
They just got that all bundled up there in the center of the road, and then when the lights change again, the other people can't move left or right. I mean, it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you heard me talk about that the other morning, not specifically about that one, but the fact that we should have the zebra stripes in that intersection there, to say that cars should never stop in that area. So if you're at the light and you see that the traffic in front of you is not moving, then you should stay where the line is for the crosswalk, rather than going in the middle of the intersection and then obstructing other traffic when the light changes.
Oh, see, let me tell you something. I don't care how much signs we put on these roads. It is a lot of common sense that need to be used.
Mm-hmm.
And like my family members say, I'm patient. Everybody is all about themselves, and the heck with the rest who is trying to get where they want to go. And then barricading the roads in various locations. I heard you saying that they're going to get some more signs made and put out here and so forth. Oh, see, I don't know how much more signs Cayman can take. But I want to say that the pedestrian crossing, people are not using those pedestrian crossings the right way. So if they're going to go and make up more signs, they need to put sign by their pedestrian stating. They need to stand there and wait for the vehicle to stop for them.
Mm-hmm.
So they are just stepping in the road regardless of what the situation is at that present time. It needs to stop. And also on Prentice Way, there by this security center and so forth. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard you mention that yesterday.
That is a pain in the neck. I park on the left-hand side and right-hand side. And I'm not just here fighting for the taxi buses. I am fighting for the road, period. Both sides should not be taken up by vehicles. You have no way to get in out there comfortable. So I want to know how they got that power to do what they're doing, and it needs to be stopped. And also, the Port Authority dock, where we got to go there and pick up passengers. I don't know who's in charge, Brian, Tom, Dick, or Harry. They need to do some cleaning up down there. Really and serious, OC, because if you see what we bring into our cars, the $6 trip cannot maintain your vehicle.
When you say $6 trip, that's $6 per person?
Person to the beach.
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh.
By the time you get your van cleaned back, get your gas, get something to eat, you have practically hardly anything left.
When was the last time you had there was an increase in the fare? How long since?
I don't know, say the honest God truth, because I just came back out, and this is my first time out last month in about 5 years. Mm. So I'm out here learning all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I really don't know.
And when you're looking at an average trip, how many passengers are you looking at carrying at one time?
Me myself.
On average, yeah.
You can I can carry 6 in me,
Okay.
7, and then you'll get a couple who just want to do a private tour by themselves.
Okay.
Or you'll get a family of 4 wants to do a private tour by themselves. So I got
And if you're lucky, how many trips are you able to make during the course of a day with the cruise ships in? If you're lucky.
Well, if I'm lucky, because I work at a school bus, so if I'm not have to go to work like the Christmas time, I could probably hit 2 tours. Or if not, I can hit 3 beach trips, depending on the movement of the people, because the moment has changed to a degree that they got it at the Royal Pier now, that only 2 tour and 2 beach can only go up to the compound and pull people down to their bus, when they got like 6 or 8 buses down on the ground waiting to be loaded. When you could have gone up, everybody could have gone up there. Now they only got 4 persons going up there. And these cruise ships are not here all day long. So who changed that law to put only 4 people up on that Royal Pier to pick up 2 beach trips and 2 tour trips, and then when they come down with theirs, then another 4 has to go up, and then you got to work with the other ones to get them loaded. Sometimes it could take all 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how the people is moving off the cruise ship. And you know what they're doing, OC? They're letting off all the pre-books first, and they are all paid for. And then the little small man got to wait until they are all taken off before we can get the leavings of what is left on the ship.
Got you.
And the visitors is saying, why can't they let us off first when they know they have got their pre-book already organized and paid for? Why are they doing this to you guys? Why are they doing this to us?
Okay. Got to leave you there, though. Top of the hour for our headline news. No guests in the studio, so please feel free to call back if time allows, for you with your busy schedule as well. And just before we go there, Jeffrey Woods, we want to have a birthday as well. He also celebrated his birthday on January the 11th. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Conner. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
Why is your drink so green? Is this some New Year trend?
Being healthy isn't a trend, it's a lifestyle, and I'm trying to do better, to be better.
Be better? Well, what's wrong with regular soda?
In moderation, nothing, but it's nice to have something nourishing.
Wow, you took New Year, New Me to heart.
You gotta, when you're hoping to live well with Foster's and CG Brit K. It's a great resource for healthy tips to help you achieve your peak wellness goals.
How do I start?
Check out livewell.fosters.ky and live well with Foster's and CG Brit K.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Shortly after 8:20 on Saturday, officers responded to a report of an incident in a fast food restaurant on West Bay Road. The RCIPS says it appeared that a group of young people had thrown a lit firework into the restaurant, which then detonated. One person experienced difficulty breathing as a result of the firework discharge and fainted. They had to be carried to the hospital for treatment. The matter is currently under investigation with a, quote, view to locating those involved. The National Drug Council says more than 3,600 people use the annual Purple Ribbon Bus on New Year's Eve, a free initiative designed to stave off drunk driving on the night. NDC's Delisa Hernandez.
And in 2021, we had 2,942. So you can see the difference. In 2020, it was the number was a little bit lower. Obviously, for COVID, you would notice and recognize that decrease. But prior to COVID, the numbers were quite close. And so for us, we were really happy to see that people came out and utilized the service for the purpose that it was served.
The designated driver side of the initiative was also a big hit this year, with more than 114 restaurants and bars on all 3 islands participating. Through that, designated drivers for the evening would get to show their purple ribbon keyring and get a free non-alcoholic drink on the night at participating bars and restaurants. And in other news,
it is always important for people to give blood. Always. Right? Because blood can only be obtained from living human beings who are healthy. So it's always important.
Dr. Lundy Richards at the Health Services Authority says the need is always there, whether it's due to an accident or just for routine surgeries. But blood isn't the only thing they need. Platelets, a component of blood, is needed too.
The same person who may be in an accident, the same mom who would have had complications, the same person who is being treated for cancer, they may present with a situation where the platelet count is very, very low. And the only way to treat it is by giving platelets. Platelets prevents catastrophic bleeding.
Dr. Richards says it's important to have a good list of people who are able to donate platelets so there's an adequate supply on hand. You can find out more by contacting the HSA or the blood bank. Call 244-2674 for more information. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Russia says its forces have completed the capture of Soledar, a town in eastern Ukraine that's been the focus of intense fighting. The Defense Ministry in Moscow said that this would allow Russian troops to cut off Ukrainian forces in the more important Bakhmut. But Kiev says fighting is continuing in Soledar. Parliament in Kazakhstan has stripped the wealthy family of the former president, Nursultan Nazarbayev, of immunity from prosecution. Mr. Nazarbayev, who ruled Kazakhstan for decades, has also lost his honorary status as head of the nation. The Ethiopian military says Amhara fighters have begun withdrawing from Tigray in the latest stage in the peace deal that ended the civil war. The troops from Amhara had helped the government in its fight against Tigrayan rebels. A ceremony has been held in Sweden to inaugurate Europe's first spaceport capable of vertical rocket launches. The facility at Kiruna in the Arctic is expected to launch thousands of satellites in the coming years. Sweden's Prime Minister has condemned Kurdish activists for hanging an effigy of the Turkish president during a demonstration in Stockholm. He said staging the mock execution of a democratically elected leader was extremely serious, and the stunt was meant to sabotage Sweden's NATO application. China says it's being open with the world about the COVID crisis gripping the country, despite pleas for more information from the WHO. It claimed Beijing was being transparent and providing timely data. With voters in the Czech Republic about to go to the polls to elect a new president, a cyber official says the website of one of the front-runners is under attack from Russian hackers. Petr Pavel is a retired NATO general and staunch supporter of military aid to Ukraine. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We need to talk. Okay. We've noticed you've been going to KFC a lot more than usual lately. And
that's fine. We know you love it.
We just don't understand how you can afford it.
The KFC What a Deal menu starting at just $3.50 gives you lots of great choices and value. Available at KFC Baytown Plaza, Shedden Road, and in the Strand. The KFC What a Deal value menu. The deal everyone should know about. Come to KFC and enjoy a variety of tasty choices at surprising prices.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 82%. The barometric pressure is 30.00 inches and rising. The winds are variable at 2 knots. Overnight low temperature was 75 degrees. Synoptics indicate light winds and slight seas expected today over the Cayman area in association with a cold front moving over the central Gulf of Mexico. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the southwest. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be north to northwest at 5 to 10 knots, becoming 10 to 15 knots by this evening. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a 40% chance of late night showers, and temperatures falling to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be northwesterly at 10 to 15 knots, becoming 15 to 20 knots later tonight. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet, becoming rough late tonight with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open waters from late tonight. Low tide, we're presently at a low tide, and the next high tide will be this afternoon at 1:29, and a low tide again tonight at 8:44. The sun will set this evening at 5 minutes past 6 and will rise tomorrow morning at 2 minutes after 7. And the outlook is calling for the cold front, which is expected to move over the Cayman area early Saturday morning, bringing fresh northwesterly winds with rough seas affecting the northern and western coast during the passage of the cold front. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic, your life connected.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Top of the morning to you. Let's take a look at traffic. Busy traffic coming from the east and Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway, and coming off of Bobby Thompson Way as well. As on Crew Road heading to Georgetown, traffic is busy. Eastbound traffic on Crew Road moving on moderately. As we look to the Esterly Tibbetts Highway, traffic is steady coming off of there and continuing on to North Sound Road. Industrial Park area moving moderately. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic is moving at a good pace. Coming from the Westway four-way stop, expect moderate flow of traffic and light to moderate traffic flow on Owen Roberts Drive. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Remember, click it or ticket.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist, or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Is your child looking for a new academic challenge or to take their sport to college level? Dorman Day, your boarding school experts in Cayman, are pleased to welcome the Brook Hill School, a leading co-ed Christ-centered boarding school in East Texas, preparing students for college and for life. Join us at the Compass Loft on Wednesday, 18th of January at 6:30 p.m. Learn more about Brook Hill's academic and arts program, business lab, on-campus museum, championship sports, and boarding village. Call 936-3676 to register.
Are you a Caymanian student graduating or graduated from a government high school and hoping to pursue undergraduate studies at any of the world's most prestigious universities with government financial support? Then you may qualify for the new Government High Schools Scholar Award, which provides 2 students with up to $100,000 in annual tuition funding. Visit the Ministry of Education website at www.gov.ky/education to learn more about this latest opportunity to reach your full potential.
Whether you're fishing, beaching, gardening, or questioning whether to wash your car, Radio Cayman keeps you enlightened with the latest weather developments. Radio Cayman's weekend weather, morning, day, and night, every Saturday and Sunday. Radio Cayman's weekend weather updates are brought to you by Popeyes. Cayman doesn't just like chicken, they love that chicken from Popeyes. Rain or shine, make it Popeyes.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. Lots of things for us to talk about this morning. I'm going to share with you, and I believe you may have heard some of this on our news here at Radio Cayman as well. But this is a statement by the Minister for Health and Wellness on a long-term residential mental health project. This was issued on Wednesday, the 12th of January of this year. And it reads, Minister for Health and Wellness, the Honorable Sabrina Turner, MP, has provided the following statement to add context and clarify claims recently made in the media regarding the completion of the long-term residential mental health project. And she says, as Minister responsible for health and wellness, I reaffirm this government's commitment to ensuring a fully functioning residential mental health facility on Grand Cayman is open and operational at the earliest possible opportunity. We all recognize the urgent necessity for this project to provide long overdue services to our community. And that's a quote by Minister Turner. Goes on to say that the circumstances that led to Dr. Lockhart's resignation prompted the minister to undertake a review of the situation, which revealed a breakdown in the communications flow to the minister. We'll come back to that paragraph a little bit later on, because I think that needs to be parsed and debated. Goes on to say, yesterday, Premier Wayne Panton, JP, MP, and Honourable Minister Turner met with the outgoing chairperson of the Mental Health Commission. They discussed practical ways to accelerate the outstanding work in relation to staffing and operationalizing the facility. A new chairperson for the MHC has been, Mental Health Commission has been identified, and the individual has agreed to serve pending formal appointment by Cabinet. The new chairperson is a current member of the Commission and has Dr. Lockhart's full support. Minister Turner is quoted as saying, on behalf of the government, I would like to thank Dr. Lockhart for his decades of tireless service and contribution to advancing the cause of mental health in the community. Contrary to some suggestions, the construction of the facility is not yet complete and is not anticipated to be so until sometime in March. Construction of the facility is managed by the Public Works Department and has experienced multiple delays over the past 2 years. Public Works Department has explained that the main reason for the repeated delays was initially COVID-19 and subsequently supply chain issues. The facility will also invariably require a phased opening, which may in itself take as much as a year to fully implement. Since taking up the position of Minister for Health and Wellness less than 2 years ago in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Honorable Minister Turner notes, and I quote, "I have had to prioritize what can only be described as the full establishment of the Ministry of Health. I joined a team with no confirmed chief officer, no deputy chief officer, and only 2 policy advisors dedicated to health. And this lean team has worked almost exclusively on the national management of COVID-19 since early 2020. For years, the health ministry has been severely understaffed due to budget cuts, hiring freezes, and other constraints which negatively impacted its internal capacity. Today, we have a confirmed chief officer, 1 deputy chief officer, a full-time chief medical officer, 1 epidemiologist, and 3 policy advisors to help the Ministry of Health deliver results at pace. Since the resignation of Dr. Lockhart and the communication of his concerns, Premier Panton and Minister Turner have been in continuing discussions with the Deputy Governor, Honorable France Manderson, to address those concerns and achieve the government's objective of operating the facility as soon as possible following completion. Addressing the opposition's claims, the Honorable Minister Turner explained, "When I took office, the facility was under basic construction and was nowhere near being close to completion, as the opposition suggested. In fact, the project has already suffered a number of delays, some of which were due to COVID-19. As has been borne out, the buildings were still far from completion. As such, the comments from the opposition suggesting that it was nearly complete is blatantly untrue and can only be described as an attempt to deliberately mislead the public." In summary, the Honourable Minister said that management of the mental health care issues has a profound impact on our entire community, and the enduring consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic have made this need even more acute. Along with our community, I not only recognize the importance of the long-term mental health facility, but acknowledge that it is a project that has been long overdue. In spite of significant challenges, my commitment to this project is steadfast, and I will continue to work with my ministry team to address the gaps and chasms which I have inherited while advocating for the strengthening of the ministerial team and the building capacity. And she concluded by saying, "While as minister I do not and cannot have any direct responsibility, nor involvement in matters relating to staffing or recruitment, I have actively encouraged and wholeheartedly supported recent efforts to rebuild the ministry team. We must ensure the Ministry of Health is staffed and operated with adequate capacity and capabilities, qualified professionals who are able and willing to serve the needs of the community, and in tandem a team at the Ministry of Health create and enshrine a culture which focuses on a more proactive approach to health and wellness." And so I've shared that with you. Now, there are certain things that haven't been addressed in here, and I believe that the resigning chairperson of the Mental Health Commission, it would appear as if he was under the impression also that the facility was completed or near completion. And what this press release has not fully gone into is the whole issue of staffing. And while the minister may not have any direct responsibility and cannot be involved in the individual staff hiring, the overall staffing of the facility, has to be a concern, and should, if it doesn't come under her purview, should come under her purview, as well. It is one thing to say who should be employed. It's another thing to say, let's get employees there. Also, what hasn't been addressed in this, and I think that was mentioned in the article that I read relating to Dr. Lockhart's resignation, was the fact that some proposals had been made that the operation of the facility should have been assigned to an outside entity as opposed to a government entity, and that had been either ignored or rejected as well. So we're going to parse a little bit more of this later on, not to be critical, of anyone, but to present a balance and at the end of the day to see the way forward as well. I believe we do have a caller on hold. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning. How art thou?
All right, that was good.
And stewed beef today? And stewed beef? No stewed beef
today. Not, I understand the minister said we're going at it heavy. Next week, Wednesday, going to be a regular thing on Wednesdays. Regular gathering.
Okay, Wednesday's a bad day for me. But, yeah.
with a few young ones in between, like me and Craig. And good morning to the doctor. I don't have to say happy belated birthday because I spent some time with him last night.
Okay.
And yesterday evening, so I'm regular there with him. So, but it's so nice that you got him on there again.
No, he's not on this morning.
You're not on?
No,
I thought he was on this morning.
No.
No. Okay. Well, this is a little personal today.
Okay.
During the campaign. Leading up to the campaign and during the campaign, me and the deputy premier, Minister Sanders, had quite a few conversations about what we should do and what need to be done in the Cayman Islands for the Cayman people. He was very, very stern on his proposal. Matter of fact, when I leave his conversation, I would be doing cartwheels because I knew, according to him, help was on the way. And he ended up having control or responsibility for border control, which I can see now is very, very important. I would say some serious things. There's been some serious breaches have been happening on our borders. And all of a sudden now, as you know, we used to meet regularly. He was part of our little domino playing and stuff, and I haven't heard him on the radio. He used to come onto the radio. I haven't heard him on the radio. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him on the road. I haven't heard him on your show.
It's a busy man.
Busy man. We'll come out here. Well, busy doing what though? Let us know what's happening, because I tell you what, we got a lot of bridges out there at the border control that we need to fix. So we need to have that fixed. Because 2 years almost gone now, and I'm going to hold a foot to the fire this time. Every politician had made promises with the little manifesto, because I got one the greatest platform right now. I got for the record.
Yep.
I got for the record, and according to what I can see now, you giving me extra time later. You gave me some extra time, so you can tell them.
Well, of course, I heard on Wednesday that the reason that I gave you extra time was because I knew about the stew beef, and once I received that message that it was being cooked, then I had to curry favors with you by giving you more time.
I noticed that, that was displayed all over the place, and the cake too.
Yes, that custard top cornbread that Miss Topsy made. Oh boy, that was the best.
Yeah, well, I hope you know now that Wednesday's coming up again. I want to. I think the only time we're here the premier, we're hearing Minister Brian, and we're hearing Minister Jay regularly. So we need to hear the whole pack. We need to come out and make us know what's happening. Because personally, I don't see too much. So let us know if it's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
We're looking for light at the end of the tunnel, not a coming train.
And they know that when they come on here, that it's going to be a balanced view. On here, while some people accuse me of being, a PPM sympathizer or a PPM supporter. I, on this show, try to be as balanced as I possibly can, provide both points of view and remain politically neutral, so they know that they're going to be treated fairly when they come on here.
Yeah, because you're not a PPM member, right?
No, not at all.
Even though ride every now and again with Sir Alden. I mean, show him one or two things on the bike. That's about it.
Well, that is probably, I would say again. I shouldn't say again. Used to ride with him because I haven't seen him on the bike in quite a while. As well.
So they can't even accuse you of that no more then. Yeah, OC. So I just him in particular. We had many conversations, and I was so happy with his ideas, and then after you get to the border, because I'm a border control person. I looking at that Orrett Stern with things happening and people coming in, and we have no clue of who coming in and what they're bringing in, and so I think that we need to look at that and try and put some control on how the people are getting in. Especially, I spoke yesterday about the temporary work permits. I think that issue of temporary work permit should be in the hands of the board, directly the board, not administration. Because we have some other stuff that I can tell you off the air that I hear is happening. So he really need to look at that, and I hope that the report that Dr. McField delivers to them, I hope they really look at it and implement it, and not just a waste of time of Doc to be doing these reports. So we'll talk later.
Okay. Now you talking about the border control, and I'll say very little about this because to avoid any conflict of interest. But I see where CBC did put out a press release. I think they had repatriated another 16 Cuban migrants, returned them to Cuba this week, I believe it was, and then on their way back from Cuba, then they picked up some 20 odd, I believe, may have been more than that in the BRAC, and brought them here. And in that article, it was also pointed out, and the director of Customs and Border Control extended his gratitude to the other government departments like Work, who provided assistance for them, because the rules are that for every individual that is being returned, you have to have two persons or two officers accompanying them. So that puts a lot of strain, and that limits the number of people that can be carried at any one point in time, as well. I remember when we were returning the Haitians in 1988, just before Hurricane Gilbert, to Haiti. We had a similar situation, and as chief immigration officer, we actually ended up recruiting persons from the public to assist us to be, so that we could have that presence of two persons for each individual that was being returned, as well. So CBC, they have a lot on their plate. So anyone who talks about cutting government and cutting the size of government, they need to recognize, the immense and enormous responsibility that the government has.
Okay, on the Cuban situation, I don't think that it's fair that these people can come to our shores, and we I don't know what process they do, and then all of a sudden they're let go on our streets. If I want to get a work permit for somebody, got to take a AIDS test, all this kind of thing. These people can just be let go on the streets. I see them all over the place, walking from, I don't know whether it's the women prison out town, and they're very, very aggressive. I know they had a confrontation with a friend of mine who owns a business. And another thing, I don't like the idea. I'm not sure that I would feel safe going to Cuba as a passenger with these people being repatriated on the same flight, because know.
No, it can't be on a. It's difficult. You can't do that on a commercial flight. It could be.
So you mean we put on a special Cayman Airways?
Yes, Cayman Airways charter just to take them. Yeah.
Just to take them?
Yep. Yes.
Well, see.
I believe that's what we used to do. That's what we used to do. And those days it was like no. Well, in when I was at immigration, it was $36,000 to charter Cayman Airways to go to Cuba and return.
That was then. That's what I'm saying now. Like $65,000.
Yeah, and I'm 100 years old now, so.
Yeah, and we're flying the big 737 now, Max.
Yeah.
So no, wow. And they came here in a little boat that couldn't make it no further than Cayman Brack. It cost us a lot of money, see.
Yes,
I don't know why we just don't give them some gas, and because they really, really, really don't want to be here, see. The people really don't want to be here. A cousin of mine and Mr. Adam almost got in trouble up in East End by giving them a little water and a little gasoline one time, which that was all they wanted from us.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that we'll be putting their life in danger if they went from Cuba to here and then want to continue their journey, and we assist them by giving them some gas and if they need a engine part or something, and make them continue their journey.
Yep.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Lord Graham.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Take care. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. I believe we still have another caller on hold, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners, now using the most popular and eco-friendly cleaning solvents. 2 convenient locations to serve you: Savannah Countryside and Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. Drive-through, rain or shine, free pickup and delivery services available. Call Puritan Cleaners 949-7104. Also ask about our in-house discounts. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. That's 949-7104.
Radio Cayman News. A wanted man considered armed and dangerous is in custody tonight.
Police described him as violent, dangerous, and potentially armed.
The curriculum experiences offered to students were excellent.
The National Airline has to ground its flights from Little Cayman after issues with the fire truck there.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. Lots to talk about. Some callers on hold as well. I have just been provided with some information, additional information from one of our listeners who has advised that the Cubans are repatriated on commercial flights. They are seated at the back of the aircraft. So the Cubans and their escorts are seated in the rear of the aircraft when they are repatriated on commercial flights. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and Happy New Year.
Good morning. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you as well.
I'm going to try not to be an extremist this morning. Because a lot of people believe that if your opinions are different than theirs, you are an extremist.
Yeah.
But I express opinions that are based upon very sound
sociological research and historical research in my field of sociology. And I'm calling this morning because when I read that Dr. Lockhart had resigned out of frustration, I know what that is like in the Cayman Islands when you are doing something, pioneering something that many people have no interest in and also no knowledge of. Craig Marion sent me a copy of the talk that I gave to the National Council of Social Services, which is now called the National Council of Voluntary Organization, in 1978. I think it was March 1978. And there I was talking about social issues in the Cayman Islands, social problems, social challenges. And I was putting that within a historical perspective because as a sociologist, I just don't look at a problem. I have to also know the history of the development of that particular social challenge. And looking at the history of the sociology of the Cayman Islands, the Caymanian people in terms of how the Caymanian society was organized or not organized, because the Cayman Islands society was one of the least, if not the least, organized, cohesive society in the British settlements in the Caribbean, and that is to be taken as very serious when we're going to look at the issue of mental illness. The challenges which we had in the family, because of the way in which the families developed, the lack of institutions in the Cayman Islands, the lack of cooperation between groups or larger groups in the family, presented certain challenges to us then and more to us now. We can take we can take West Bay, for instance, which have very many psychological problems. Many of those have been associated with alcohol and drug abuse. But if we can look at those things historically, and when we come now to look at how to treat people, we have to understand a little bit about the context in which these problems have arisen. And this is some things that many people who do not have background in the culture of the Caribbean, in the culture of the Cayman Islands in particular, fail to be able to pinpoint and give the problem and give a good diagnosis. Dr. Lockhart, in my conversations with him over the years, has a very firm grounding in these areas. And this is one of the reasons why I thought that he was so important to maintain a position of leadership in this particular institution. People think that sometimes I'm just prejudiced and that I don't like foreigners and I don't like white people and I don't like black people and so forth and so on. I'm a scientist, and I don't really try to argue that point to people who can't understand and will not understand it anymore. But that's why I have a real PhD from a German university. And it is very important whether or not people want to take my advice now after 45 years or not, to deal with the mental health problems, because it will create more crime. It will create also much more domestic violence. It will create problems in the society that will cause Caymanians to experience even more the feeling of alienation and exclusion, and therefore it will lead to national conflicts within your country. So it is important what's going on out there. As a matter of fact, I was the minister who was responsible for the prisons and decided that the government should purchase that property and went ahead and did it. And thanks to George McCarthy, who was always a sweetheart in terms of assisting and getting things done that would benefit the people, we were able to secure that property. That property could return to us big dividends if we were to take these facilities and use them in a special way. Caymanians tend to have the feeling that if you're mad, because to me, black people always feel afraid of madness, and the first thing they tell you is you're mad. Somebody wrote and said that Lockhart was is a madman anyway on Facebook, and I had to go after that person, although that person I know very well and have a great respect for him, but I just thought that when somebody thinks out the box, which is sometimes necessary, you're mad. But you have to be able to experience the problems to a certain extent to really know the problems, and that's one of the things that the psychiatrist know. The psychiatrist has to have a psychological analysis done of himself or herself to be complete in that particular profession, because when we are analyzing, we don't want to be analyzing our problems. We need to be able to be therefore be able to set those types of issues, or at least be aware of those issues, those subjective issues that might determine or influence our objective decisions. So that we're talking about science. I mean, social science is a science. It's done based upon those particular principles. So those persons who are not professionals, who do not understand these things, and most of them in government don't, you come up against them every time you try to suggest something. We lose time. They've lost 45 years on what I was saying, and I intend to prove that in my book that is coming out this year, that the Cayman Islands government is responsible, and therefore the British government is responsible for this runaway situation where Caymanians, so a very large portion of Caymanians cannot participate or will not be able to participate later on in benefiting from the development by participating in the new society that has come about and the extension of that society as we progressed in history. So I appreciate anyone who will support Dr. Lockhart and not just say, okay, it's okay, he resigned, because we are going to need somebody with his ethnic experiences, because the majority of people that these things are happening to, that are experiencing this situation, happen to be of color. And that should never be forgotten, because if people don't have the scientific experience to know exactly what that means, because they will not study their history, then they will not study the sociological and psychological damage done by slavery and post-slave societies, that's one of the reasons why we have problems in schools. Nobody wants to take these sociological and psychological factors into account. And as soon as you say so as a professional, in this country, when people are taking them into account in other countries and have taken them into account for years, decades now, as soon as you say in this country, you beat up, you're alienated, you're starved, all of these things have happened. But we who believe in science and rationality, we will not move away from what we know is reasonable in order to serve ourselves. Those people who serve society will give up things to be able to stand by reason, because it's reason that is truth. It's not just what somebody feels. It's what is provable. So I thank you for the opportunity to say as much as I said, but believe you me, after 45 years of experience around the streets that I've had to live on and exist on and survive on, in government, in the top place in government, I know the bottom of this country and I know the top of this country. I know the country much better than a lot of people believe I know the country.
Right. And Doc, before you go, just want to point out to our listening and viewing audience the fact that when you took over responsibility for prisons, you were the first minister to take responsibility for a subject that had previously been assigned to the governor, and who may have delegated it to, say, a deputy governor or someone. But you were the first person to take up that challenge and to run a ministry that previously was not under an elected minister as well.
That's correct.
Yes.
You know how I came to that? Because Governor Smith said to me after the prison,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, John Jefferson went up there and we did a little interview there with CITN, I think it was. And when I went back to the office, he said to me, yeah, you got all this mouth. He said, well, if you got all this mouth, he said, here is the prison. Take it. It was you would take it because he was right back, you know.
Uh-huh.
And you take it. And I took it. I was happy to take it because I always wanted to have a situation where I could encourage people to create this rehabilitative type of program. That's where Natalie sees a kid. And unfortunately, she's no longer in the prison, although she's still employed by government. And we have raised so much time. I recruited certain people. Me and Mr. Carson, God bless him, he was the best chief officer, permanent secretary at that particular time that anybody could ever work with in sports and in those areas. Youth, we accomplished something working as a team, and Miss Doreen Whitaker. They were good people. We need to get back to the point where we have a missionary outlook in government service, and we have to understand that people in government do sacrifice. Politicians sacrifice. I might beat up on politicians because it's a question of difference in opinion, but I know they sacrifice. I know, you know, when you have to leave your wife and your children and people are calling you all the time, you have to attend to this and that. You're sacrificing. So I'm grateful to see. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much, Doc. You have a great day and all the best for you in 2023 as well. We're going to take a commercial break. Do we have other callers on hold, Miss Susan? One caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return. So, folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
60 and bossy with J and money. When a trip it easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. A instant entry. Look how you lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Scene, bossy. Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy. We well proudy.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for two to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J and Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J and bank account required.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
New year, new arrivals at Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Modern and stylish bedroom sets are up to 20% off. Save up to $600 on Beauty Rest Black mattress sets and iComfort mattress sets, including adjustable bases. Our Palliser shipment of quality sofas, sectionals, and sleepers has also arrived with great family-friendly steam-resistant fabrics. Discover all the new arrivals, including plush beanbags. Save now until January 31st, only at Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery, corner of Hospital and Walkers Road.
Water Authority Cayman would like to advise customers along Shamrock Road of a planned service interruption on Sunday 15th January between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. to facilitate infrastructure work in the area. The service interruption will impact customers on the following roads: Shamrock Road from Poindexter Road to Midsummer Drive and Cascade Drive. Motorists are encouraged to drive with caution when in the area to protect their safety and the safety of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience these works may cause and thanks the public for their patience and understanding.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we're going straight to the phone lines to our caller who was on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hey, good morning. I was saying Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you as well. How is the farming going over there in the back?
It's going good. A little dry, but the well water look like it's working magic, so I can live with that.
Mango trees starting to blossom up there yet?
Oh, yeah. They covered in blossoms, man. Beautiful.
I know. This if they all hold, this is going to be some crop this year. Of course, we had a lean crop last year, or I believe that we had a lean crop. I had several of my trees that didn't bear at all. So, yeah.
So you're not gonna quarry dust down there or anything like that?
Haven't noticed. Then you're experiencing that Sahara dust up there?
No. I'm talking about the quarry dust that Scott Development since came on. You can't get no chance biting on even a bucket of that. If you can get a chance to get it into that, just take that and put around the bottom or dig around the bottom and then put the fresh quarry dust or whichever kind of building crushed rock you can find. Even the seaweed, wash out the seaweed and put that around the bottom.
Yeah, I heard that was good. Yeah. But my property, because part of it was rocky and part of it was low, is filled with crusher runs. So, but that we're looking at 30 years ago now. So, the effect of that, would have been lost.
You would have dig that back up and probably burn it to get a new crop start on it. Yeah.
Yep.
All that is like what my father said: if you don't plant, you don't grow. So
that's true. Yep.
Yeah, just made them share one big pot of plantain porridge and bottle of porridge mixed together. So.
Oh, wow! Now that's good stuff. Good stuff.
I never heard another sound of one, so I give my gone sleep. What people always used to say, now when you eat that, you go to your bed. So. I wanted to mention three things this morning.
Sure.
Basically, just top on three things.
Okay.
When I called Sterling some days ago talking about the old agriculture building there, Spot Bay. They keep on putting public works there to repair that constantly. And I sometimes when I go there afraid I will walk through the floor. For termites, I take that was the old Teacher Hill School years that before I was my days, but. They're still using that building. That building should been come out of that. Don't occupy that building no more and use the facilities. They got beautiful facility up on the bluff, and they just still using that old building up there. It's full of rats. It's a fire hazard. It almost burned down some months ago. And trust me, you'll see by the time fire truck get from West End to Spot, but like I said, they're not even gonna find a foundation where that was standing. So. That's a real disgrace to know that government don't want to do something in Buddha, stop using the old building, disregard that. But the next thing I wanted to speak about was that car up by Mr. Mark's business up there by the bakery, the next business. They still not move that old car from there.
Wow.
They still not move that car from there. Where that young man lost his life in, and they just got it exposed out in the like it on a showcase. They got on the showcase. That is so disrespectful. I really and truly, I say sometimes when I see things around here, I will say it just grinds me to know like what old man I say I will go up on the ladder, grab my blood pressure and bring it back down below. It's just disgusting to know that this is the kind of country that we have come to over. We just being overseen by foolishness, like this thing about government.
And it hasn't been covered with a tarp or anything like that, just exposed?
I got no tarp on it. Like, if I could send you a photo, I would send you a photo with that silver vehicle sitting out there with the whole public can just come and look at it or even look inside it. That's a bad thing. They can't go there and look inside the thing. That's no respect to the family.
Yes.
And the government want to do something regarding that and just holding the building there. I don't know who pushing the power. Where the government just can't seem to lease the building, at least if they don't want to sell the building, lease the building to Mr. Marks so he can extend the bakery out a little further, a little wider, and the man have a proper business there going. And it just like somebody just got something against the man, don't want the man to have the building. It's a sad situation because what they need to build police station in that area when government should focus on putting a police station up on top of the bluff in a way. We thought it serve a purpose, and when hurricane come, they got somewhere to put their vehicles. Then I got worried about running up Ashton Road, etc., to hide their vehicles up there from wind and water or whatever the case they're afraid of. It is sad, Osi. It really sad because no matter how much people speak, it look like they're challenging people today. But if they think that they can continue challenging, tell them keep going, because I can tell you what, like I say, I run my race, Osi, and I am about to continue the way I got to speak about this island. Why I see the stupidness on this island here, I got to continue to voice my opinion.
Yes.
As long as God give me strength. But the last thing, Osi, I can't believe, and I wanted to mention about the cruise ship coming in here, Cayman Brac, because we hardly have anything. They had shut down our Kirk Freeport, so people don't have no way to properly to go. They got little purple stores here and there to buy their stuff, but they need a beach. And I've been saying on the talk show that government should have purchased that piece of beach on the south side where the old Tiara Beach built, the old Tiara Beach Resort was. That is the prime property where they should purchase in order for when these ships come, the tourists have a perfect beach to go to.
I saw something some time ago where the owners of that property were refusing to sell.
Well, the thing about it is someone bought it, and I guess everybody might know by now who bought it. Because that company, they look like they got someone tell us what put on when we come out of our house. But beside that, I mean, it's sad though, see, because we've been neglected in their corner. And the thing about it is, we need people that come and speak regarding things that matter to the country.
Yeah.
Not foolishness.
Yep.
It grinds me up to know that I hear foolishness talking on the radio all the time, and people and knowing that the country is going down in a spiral, and not worrying about how the country is, worrying about the foolishness that we can do, and not worrying about where our future, our children lies in the future to come. And I just want to say lastly about this thing with government got people up here about killing cats. Listen, they got some little, I see 2 little wild cats up on by Ashton, the lighthouse. And partly, from what I know, they went and killed them. If they take out the cats, the rats are going to populate the island. With stupid government official or government department agreed to pay people to come to this island and kill our cats? Well, pass on the news. Tell them I got 9 in my yard, and my daughter got 8 in hers. And I challenge when I'm driving down this road, you're talking about they come set poison and drop. Because when they set poison, they're killing the owl that help them kill the rats. They're killing the cats that help kill the rats. And then where we left, everything we park in our yard, they eat. Some days ago, I had come outside midnight and keep putting stuff over my bottles, my plants, my bananas.
Wow.
Where the rat is climbing up, eating on them. They're eating basically every part of the trees.
Wow.
Where is the government can find money to spend stupidly to pay people to do these kind of jobs, and then they turn around and say they're broke and not got no money to help our young people?
Yeah. Okay. Caller, thank you very much for that. And as long as you want your voice to be heard, certainly when we're here on For the Record, we will afford you that opportunity and continue to speak out, for your rights as well. Folks, top of the hour headline news. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back immediately after headline news.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The MRCU says they're working hard to tackle an unexpected boom in the local mosquito population. On December 28th, Cayman got more than 10 centimeters of rain, and then 12 days later, mosquito eggs laid during the wet event hatched, causing the current population boom. Mitigation measures have been taking place all week, and the MRCU says residents should notice a difference from today. Russia says it has taken control of Ukrainian salt mine town Soledar after a months-long battle, calling it a, quote, important step for the offensive. The victory would allow Russian troops to cut off Ukrainian supply routes in the nearby larger city of Bakhmut. Ukrainian officials said the fight for Soledar was still going on and accused Russia of, quote, information noise. The fighting around the town has been some of the bloodiest of the war. And Lisa Marie Presley, the only child of rock and roll legend Elvis, has died at the age of 54. Lisa Marie, also a singer, was rushed to hospital early on Thursday. U.S. media said she suffered a cardiac arrest. Her mother gave no details about the possible cause of death. TMZ reported that the star was found unresponsive in her bedroom Thursday morning. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio K-Man.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. And despite the fact that we've beyond the birthday shout-out time, we understand that one of Cayman's premier saxophonist, Mr. Gary Ebanks, celebrated a birthday on the 11th as well. So belated happy birthday going out to Mr. Gary Ebanks. One of our listeners has written in, they were actually trying to get through, but were unsuccessful, but they wanted to comment. They said that they supported everything that Dr. Frank opined on. In particular, number one, folks in leadership only listen to certain people and consider them knowledgeable, so the messenger is important. In our recent history, the persons who have tended to address issues arising from non-Caymanian inclusion and participation in the island's success, sadly, have all been people of color and well-educated. Arguably, all of these generational Caymanians who care, or all of them are generational Caymanians who care, I'm sorry. We have to get past whatever prevents us from listening to what makes sense irrespective of the messenger. The prisons will likely be populated by disenfranchised families, mainly Caymanian families. If the mental issues remain on the back burner and serious attention isn't paid, the lack of affordability for Caymanian families and people on work permits that cannot afford to live here. So that is what the person shared with me. And speaking about the fact of not listening to generational Caymanians and listening to the advice of Caymanians, not following the advice of Caymanians, the Marriott situation is a prime example of that. And I hope and I trust that these are simpler rumors and they're incorrect rumors, that any money has been set aside by the government of the Cayman Islands to assist the owners of the Marriott in rehabilitating that property there. While the original owners and the entities responsible for the extension there may not be around, I believe that even with the original construction of the Marriott Hotel, that concerns had been raised at that point in time, as well. But whomever now owns that property or controls it, that should fall within their responsibility. The Cayman Islands government should not fund any of that. And if they were to fund it, then maybe you fund it under the proviso and with an agreement that then the Cayman Islands government will own $20 million in shares into that property if we're going to invest our people's money into that when they failed to heed the warnings and the advice of Caymanians as well. Any callers on hold, Miss Susan? Any callers on hold? No callers on hold? Okay, lots to share with you. So we're going to continue the conversation now about the mental health facility. And this was the article on the 11th of January, 2023 on Cayman News Services website. Psychiatrist resigns in the face of ministry inertia. And it reads, local psychiatrist Dr. Mark Lockhart has resigned in frustration as chair of the Mental Health Commission after his efforts to keep the long-awaited mental health facility project moving forward have been met with an anemic response, Speaking to Cayman News Service, he said the blockage was inside the ministry as Minister Sabrina Turner, like her predecessors, was fully behind opening the center, which is now finished. So I say here, which is now finished as soon as possible. So, and the finish, then as soon as possible is not in relation to the finishing, but the opening as soon as possible, right? But senior civil servants appear to be standing in the way. Dr. Lockhart said his concerns were not a matter of a disgruntled individual, quote unquote, making complaints over infighting, but a genuine exasperation as a result of the failure of government officials inside the health ministry to execute a plan for opening the facility. He said that basic but critical issues, such as how the facility will be managed and operated, who will be working in it, and organizing the operational budget, have not been addressed. He said it was heartbreaking for all of us who have been involved in this to see the facility finished but standing empty because the bureaucrats have not even begun to do their part. He said that from the beginning, the ministry had said that it, not the Health Services Authority or any other entity, would manage the facility. So I'm going to stop there for a second and say that, so even if we look at what used to be a simple exercise, which now becomes more and more complicated, of building a house, building your own residence. When you embark to build it, and if you intend to complete it, start building and complete it all in once, don't you also figure out, well, I have to live in it, so I have to get furniture, I have to have running water, I have to have electricity, all those things come, through planning, but, I have to have furniture, I have to do my landscaping or whatever. Don't we all do that at the same time? Now, it may not occur at the same time, but we make all of the plans so that everything is in place. It does not seem as if that basic principle may have been followed in this instance based on what this article has said. Poor planning. So let's go on and read. Dr. Lockhart said that throughout the whole process, the commission had raised the question about how and when that would happen and suggested how it could be done. But the issue was constantly ignored. The response is anemic, he's quoted as saying. Innovative ideas put to the ministry to have a private sector entity manage the mental health center and staff it under a public-private partnership were ignored and viewed with suspicion and criticism. But there is no other plan in place. The Cayman Islands $15 million project is a 54-bed residential and daycare facility consisting of cottages with two major buildings on a 50,000 square foot site in East End. It is expected to provide a home for Caymanians suffering from mental health problems who are on island and in need of residential care, as well as a number of patients currently in facilities overseas. But more than 3 years after the official groundbreaking, the chance of those patients moving in any time soon seems a long way off because Dr. Lockhart said the ministry has not even begun work on the job descriptions. And we know how cumbersome and that can be in terms of the job descriptions as well. But we're going to talk about jobs a little bit, in this as well, because, and I'll drop the hint from now that if this is another project where we build and then we have to import employees, we have to bring people in to fill those positions, and we have had 3 years, if those job descriptions and those positions had been identified 3 years ago, we could have trained Caymanians for some of those jobs, including those Caymanians coming out of high school or those graduating from college. We could have earmarked scholarships or whatever to fill these positions. Again, folks, poor planning. But we want to come back to that because that is one of the problems that we have. The other thing that we want to talk about within the civil service as well is that we see promotions taking place in the civil service, and we advocate for that. We advocate for the Caymanianization of the civil service. But there are times when persons are promoted beyond their competency levels, and that needs to be addressed as well, because we should not be promoting simply for the sake of promoting a Caymanian, but we have to promote Caymanians who are capable of doing the job, and if they're not capable, then bring them up to speed to be able to do that as well. So we need to come back to this because, all of this hiring and these new positions and these job descriptions, if they're not for Caymanians, then we're probably a few steps backwards as far as this facility is concerned. So let me finish on this as well. So he says there are no plans for staffing. There are no plans for preparing the facility to receive the patients. There are no plans for training, for hiring staff, for job descriptions, he said. I feel there is a lack of situational awareness from the actuality of what is happening in the community and the extent of the mental health problems we face, as well as the strategy needed to move this project forward. He said the Mental Health Commission had helped every step in the way, but the struggle is getting a response. The commission, he said, had written multiple times to the ministry offering to meet with them. With suicide attempts among teens up by 72% between 2020 and 2021, and some 100 suicide attempts amongst young persons that year, the post-COVID environment remains challenging, but there are only 11 mental health beds for the entire country at the hospital, and all of them are full. That is what Dr. Lockhart has said. Ending his time on the commission, which he has chaired since 2015, was not what he wanted, Dr. Lockhart said, as he will still be very much on the forefront of the mental health challenges in Cayman and would continue to treat patients. But by stepping down from the commission and raising the alarm, he hopes to end the inertia at the ministry and get things moving. And I believe that Dr. Lockhart has hit a nerve by tendering his resignation, by going public in terms of his reasons for resigning, not sweeping it under the carpet. And I say kudos to Dr. Lockhart. Principle above all else. And that's what many of us need to exercise as well. Now, there may be stories coming out later, and some people may come out and say, oh, that portion there about outsourcing the operations of the facility to an outside entity, that that may have been the sticking point because someone was seeking to make a profit off of it. Or, things may come out here and there. So whenever they come out, we'll have to parse them and take them for what they're worth. We have to take a commercial break, and we do have callers on hold. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
New year, new arrivals at Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Modern and stylish bedroom sets are up to 20% off. Save up to $600 on Beauty Rest Black mattress sets and iComfort mattress sets, including adjustable bases. Our Palliser shipment of quality sofas, sectionals, and sleepers has also arrived with great family-friendly steam-resistant fabrics. Discover all the new arrivals, including plush beanbags. Save now until January 31st, only at Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery, corner of Hospital and Walkers Road.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Going straight to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Every day I feel better than the day before.
That is good.
I'll explain about that in a little while. But what I called to say was I heard you mention about the Marriott Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I also heard about that government was looking after doing something another for those people. I feel just like you said, they should do nothing, absolutely nothing to help those people put the beach back there, because I know a couple of people that went to those people and told them, don't put that cement down on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the sea come in, it can't get to run its course and leave the sand there. It hits the wall, splash back, and take everything with it. I'm not going to say too much about it, but they should not help them do that because they wouldn't hear. What I would say is, if the people want their beach back, let government make them, not tell them, make them take all that cement off the beach, and in a short time they get all their beach back. It will come back.
Yep.
But they got to move that cement from there. That's all I was saying. And government should make them do it, not tell them, because it's a hurt to the island, not only to the hotel. Okay, what I want to say is about that hour. I'm not going to call my name. You might know my voice, but I'm not going to call my name.
No problem with that. You don't have to identify yourself at all here on our show.
All right. Well, I mean, a long time I haven't spoken to you, so you might be catching my voice.
I'll soon pick it up.
We go back a long ways, a long ways. I think your first trip to sea was with me on the ship. So we go back a long way.
On the Frisia?
Yes.
Okay.
That might give you a little idea. I was George engineer.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying was, I was on the other talk show with what her name?
Sterling,
midday one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of days ago. But you see how I'm doing? I'm doing great. I just had an open heart surgery on the 16th of last month.
Okay.
And I want to pick up the Health City Sherry Hospital. I want to pick that up. I went there about a year and a half ago also and had good service and good this and good that. But those people there, they're magnificent. Not only the doctors, but everybody. Everybody's looking at you, smiling and saying, how you doing? You need any help? You need somebody always tending to you. And the doctors is magnificent. I had a heart problem for a little while, and I was dealing with another doctor in town there. But they told me it wasn't really necessary at the moment to get a valve change. I had a bad valve. I can make it in 6 minutes anyway. So I get a bad valve change. Anyway, I said, I better get a check. So I went and got a check at Kimana Bay. When they ran it through guys up the East End, Dr. Benoit and Sir Streety, they called me and said, made an appointment for me to come up and see them. I went there, and when I walked outside, when the doctor came outside with the nurses, they saw me, they looked at me. And anyway, walked inside. So when we got to his office, the first thing he said was, before you say anything, tell me something. What's keeping you looking like this? I said, well, Doc, I realized a long time ago you can't go in a drugstore and buy parts.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like just what I told him, and I said, I give up cigarettes in 1963. I don't have to drink much of that. That's how I take care of what I had. He said, well, whatever you were doing, it done you really good. He said, I came outside, I thought I would find somebody in a wheelchair with a stick. Not somebody that rode himself here. Well, with all of that, I didn't know my condition. He looked at me, he said, sit down. He said, you heard of sudden death? I said, yes, I heard of it. He said, well, right now, this second, you go shut down this second talking to me.
Wow.
He said, not a minute, this second. My aorta valve, 4 valves in the heart. The aorta one is the one the heart pushed it. That's two pretty much the system.
Yeah, the main one, aorta.
He looked at me and he says, I'll tell you something, the valve there, the opening for that is a little bit bigger than a pinhead. He said, I don't understand how you're walking around the way you is, not feeling it. He said, I don't understand this at all. I don't understand it.
Now, I'm going to interrupt you for a second there just to ask you a question. The other doctors that you were dealing with before, did they have the necessary technology, necessary medical devices to identify the same thing that Dr. Benoit at Health City was able to identify?
Well, I don't know if they had them or not, but the other cardiologists at the hospital there in town, they told me that the valve was smaller than normal size.
Okay.
But like I wasn't necessary to do an operation right then, but down the line I would have to do it. But that was, okay, let's say that was a year ago. So whether it got small like that in 1 year or not, I don't know that. But anyway, that's what he told me. He told me that he frightened me. I remember before after the day how he shut down, bombing it out.
Yeah.
And I said, Doc, what time we can do this, please? He said, he made an appointment for me to do it like 3-4 days sometime. And he called me the day before. I went on the 15th, and the operation was on the 16th. And he called me there to check the blood clots and stuff like that and whatnot. And anyway, took me in the theater on the 16th, and bam, I didn't do much more after that. Then what he did was they stopped my heart. They took it out. They put a valve in it, and they put it back. I looked at him yesterday, went for my checkup, and I said, well, Doc, you know me inside out. He laughed. I said, not everybody can look and say you know me inside out, but I can tell you that you know me inside out. And anyway, how I was doing is that. So good. Every day is a day better. I came out on the 22nd. I was on the 16th. I came out on the 22nd, and I've been recuperating now ever since. When I come out, like a cough, I jump off the ground, peeing. But now I can cough and I hardly feel it.
Great, good.
Coming on good. Coming on good, OC. And I have to go back now 4 months time for another checkup. And after that, for like 6 months for a checkup. But I just want to say how great those people is up there. I mean, they about 10 or so days before I went there for mine, another lady from down here, I wouldn't call her name, but she went to the, she had shut down.
Okay.
And they got her back, and now she's doing great also. Same thing, had to go in the heart and take a while, put a valve.
What advice did he give to you, if any, in relation to continuing to be active, to walk, get exercise? Any advice that you can share with other of our listeners?
Well, after I think I was in the theater there altogether, it must have been 5.5, 6 hours of operation, and I guess 8 hours or so recuperating. But when I was in the IT, when I was there, they used to come in the morning and make me raise my hands up straight.
Mm-hmm.
They make me come out of the bed, and they lead me around a bit and walk up, down, till I think about the third day, I was walking my own and going walking a little while, come back walking. They say this is very important for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you put up your arms. So I still does that here. I got one of those things that you suck the balls up.
Okay, yeah.
When I started with that, I was only getting one, and not even quite to the top. And after that, I keep going. I got 2 up to the top. Now I got the third one starting to move. So it's coming on to come.
Great. That is good to know, and a great way for you to start 2023. In that continuing healthy phase of your life. Good to hear your voice. I recognize it now, even though I haven't heard it for quite a while. And I want to say that I was 18 years of age when I was on the freezer, and you certainly helped to guide me and give me advice, and that had a lot to do, with my success, for 9 months on the freezer. I want to thank you for that as well.
All right, sir. Thank you. Yeah. It was right. I remember all, but I can't remember. Everything happened to me long time ago. I can't remember how from yesterday, tomorrow, but today. But anyway, I just want to share that about the hospital, because those people are magnificent.
Great.
Nice,
Yes. Thank you very much. All the best. And stay safe as well. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. I after you read there that was it a news item there?
Came on News Service. The article with Dr. Lockhart.
Yeah, I think that was very, very, very important, and I think that people just need to reflect on these issues, because these are the types of challenges that we ignore, but these are fundamental to understanding why we have the degree of social breakdown and the psychological damages which it caused.
Mm-hmm.
I was allowed to go and see Sheldon Brown during his incarceration before his death at Northwood Prison.
Yeah, I remember that.
I would be able to have very long discussions with him, very long, hour, 2 hours sometime. Natalie Caesar organized that for me, because I am a participant observer. So I like to gain new knowledge from the people who experience the issues which I study. I don't just rely upon data from books. One of the things that I had as a confusion as a student was that I always believed that the economic conditions were mainly responsible for crime, rather than the psychological one. Sheldon Brown had signed up, taken an overseas correspondence course in criminology. So I asked him at one particular point, without asking questions, just by discussion, because when you ask people questions, they are prepared to give you the answers that they believe you want to hear. So in our methodology, we are very aware of this. So I said, what do you think are the most important causes of crime? The economic, the sociological, or the psychological? And he did not even breathe before he said psychological.
Mm-hmm.
When then we study his history as well as I know it, we understand the psychological right away. He says psychological, but he's also studied these things, and he's given a priority to the psychological causes of crime. We see now why it's important what Dr. Lockhart is pointing to us about. Now, this is not just people who we consider mental ill, but they have psychological issues, and preventing crime is the strategy is to detect these things from the time children are in preschool or in primary school or in high school, and it's so important that we do not play down in health services the importance of mental health services, and this I'm happy that you read that out again, because we have to not keep overlooking these issues. The people that know best about crime and social dysfunctionality are the people who come from those environments and have become professionals in it, not the people who come from higher middle class society and go and study these things. This is why I am a person who can tell you about certain social problems, because I experienced those problems as a child. I experienced the dysfunctional families, and we're not responsible for that. We trace it all the way back to the slave institutions and the aftermath. These things, when we talk about that, when we give the history of the sociological and psychological problems that or challenges that we're facing, we're normally considered to be resentful, always hung up on the problem. No, we're not hung up on the problem. It's the problem that we study, and this is the fullness, holistic approach that we take to identifying problems in society and solving those problems. The Caymanian identity is important to understand, not as something just to elevate to a statue of an ideal, but also to understand those things which hold us back in that identity. Unless we can be critical of our identities, not just Caymanians, but people the world over, we support that part that causes us to create more problems than we solve. And this is a worldwide problem. So here we need to wake up. We need to stop believing that the only thing is right is what the person who is making the judgment call or listening believes is right. We grow by listening, by opening our minds to assimilate whatever is progressive. It is that progression that we need in this society to become a more inclusive and holistic social unit. And I hope that you will continue and opening the eyes of people to the fact that it's only when we deal with everything holistically that we can find problems to most of the challenges which we have in the society. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doc, for that as well. Folks, we have to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank? Yeah. Pay your bills quick? Yeah. Low fees, you know what it? Yeah. JN Money, we are pick? Yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank? Yeah. Pay your bills quick? Yeah. Low fees, you know what it? Yeah. JN Money, we are pick? Yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
This National Heroes Day, we honor the persons who have given their best to the Cayman Islands through volunteerism and charitable services. Join us in Heroes Square on Monday, January 23rd at 9 a.m. to celebrate their achievements. The event is free and open to all, and refreshments will be provided. The festivities will also be aired live on Radio Cayman and streamed on the Cayman Islands Government YouTube channel.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record. with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I want to finish this last third phase of the discussion in relation to the mental health facility and its opening. And this, you would have heard earlier, the press release from Minister Sabrina Turner speaks to the opposition's criticism, and the opposition had issued a statement a press release, statement on the 10th of January, and it says that the news that Dr. Mark Lockhart has resigned from the Mental Health Commission after becoming frustrated by the lack of communication from the Health Ministry should concern everyone living in these islands. His frustration over the plodding pace of the government taking to address what has been called Cayman's mental health crisis, in particular the unnecessary delay in opening the needed mental health facility, a lack of communication and clear plans from the Health Ministry. The statement goes on to say, I urge Minister Sabrina Turner not to let this critical project fall by the wayside, as occurred when the waste to energy facility with the waste to energy facility project. In that instance, Minister Turner seemed so out of her depth that Premier Pannon took over responsibility for that project in October of 2021. Regrettably, the Premier has not done any better moving forward with the waste to energy project, or indeed with the overall management of the landfill. That said, despite the Premier's propensity towards dithering, I would have hoped he would have pushed his minister to get the mental health facility opened as planned. In May 2022, the government reported that the opening of the facility was delayed until March of 2023. In the 8 months since, though construction has been completed, the facility will not be open in March. Amazingly, the government has still not provided for all that goes with starting up a facility such as this, including the hiring of staff for the facility. It is concerning that there is still much work required to recruit and train the necessary staff for the facility to work with families and clinicians on plans for the safe return of patients from overseas, and to develop the necessary community mental health services that will support the effective operation of the residential facility. This is unacceptable and should be an embarrassment to the Premier, Minister Turner, and the entire government. The mental health facility and the waste to energy facility are two of the last government key projects, and both were close to being completed. They are critical to our islands, so it pains me to see them both languishing. Sorry about that. It pains me to see them both languishing. I pray that my comments will, as usually happens, help to spur the necessary action by the Minister and the Premier. On behalf of my colleagues in the Progressive Opposition, I would like to thank Dr. Lockhart for his contribution to improving both our understanding of mental health issues and the range of services available to treat those in our community. Under the leadership of the Mental Health Commission, under his leadership, the Mental Health Commission was central to developing the business case for the new long-term residential mental health facility now built in East End. That facility has the potential to revolutionize mental health care for Caymanians who need it, while also reducing the cost of overseas placement to the government. I have no doubt that Dr. Lockhart will continue to contribute to improving mental health care across the Cayman Islands. So that's from the progressives. And like any good opposition or any astute opposition, you never miss the opportunity or you never miss the opportunity to comment whenever you see a crisis or a potential crisis that is being created on the other side as well. So you never miss that political opportunity. What I would say, though, is that we don't want to make this facility or any other government project, use that as a football, as a political football, because at the end of the day, all efforts should be centered around the well-being of the people of the Cayman Islands, as well. So you want to take the final break now, Ms. Susan? You want to take it now? Yeah, we're going to take our final commercial break. When we return, then we go straight until 10 o'clock. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Radio Cayman's Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio. Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, dancehall, urban gospel. The Super Jam Show is
brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on-demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
Super Jam.
Also brought to you by Superior Auto Center. Do it right the first time with Superior Auto.
949-9570
or 525-9571.
Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune.
Super Jam.
Also brought to you by
Yum School Lunch Program, now available at selected private and public schools across Grand Cayman.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, and a happy 2023 to you, my friend.
Yes, Merry New Year and Happy Christmas.
Thank you.
That's what one old guy used to tell us when Christmas came around back in the day, Merry New Year and Happy Christmas. Yeah. How you been, man?
I've been doing quite well, and yourself?
Boy, I've been doing pretty good,
That's good. Good to hear.
It was a pretty hectic time up here. Some days, most days, during the holidays and before and after.
I can imagine, yeah. Your baker does, you do fruit cakes for the Christmas as well?
No, we didn't get to do any of them. She was really busy, My wife kind of controls that, and, I'm pretty much sure people would have been glad to know that we were dealing with, indulgent and things like that, but, it was really, really busy, man.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time, we almost ran out of flour because of the weather, with the barge.
Oh, yes.
So we had to bring in some flour on the plane, and that cost an arm and a leg. But otherwise from that, things been fairly promising, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, I made a call to sort of big up the guy that called about the thing in front of the bakery, man.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's really a shame and a disgrace to know that we have people that are in the government that I know and you know that can really look at that right away and take care of it. That doesn't take no scientist to go and do that, just to remove them and clean up the place and make it look like, you know, halfway decent. Everything else around.
Something happened there. Yeah. Nothing on our part. Caller, we're not hearing you. Try calling back. We're not hearing him at this point in time. Hopefully, has he tried calling back? Not yet. Okay. There was something else I wanted to share with my audience, talking about traffic in the Cayman Islands, and there was an article in the Bermuda newspaper, the Royal Gazette, talking about this issue as well. And I did some searches to see what sort of entity do we have in place in the Cayman Islands as far as road safety is concerned, and I couldn't really find anything in that regard. Now, there was a lady by the name, I think Miss Eileen, who was very active in the previous years in terms of road safety, and then there was a gentleman who was a former police officer who had a driving school who was involved in it as well, but not a whole lot of advocacy coming from any individual entity in the Cayman Islands. So basically falls under the traffic department of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, you know, as far as advocating for road safety. And maybe if the insurance industry here in the Cayman Islands has any interest in this, because I am sure that the less claims that they have to pay out, the more profits will go into their pockets. And how do you try to reduce the number of motor vehicle accident claims? One way to do that would be by trying to reduce the number of road accidents. And one way of reducing the number of road accidents is by improving the driving situation on the island. Number one, the roads. Number 1A, the drivers, by giving proper advice to them, you know, as far as driving is concerned, and safe driving. And I thought that I had saved this. Okay, yes, here we go. Motorists urge to make a new start to eradicate bad driving habits. And in Bermuda, they have an entity called the Bermuda Road Safety Council. Something that, like I said, the insurance industry here may want to advocate for, may want to, to push for it as well. And then it talks about it says that a road safety group is calling on drivers to make a New Year's resolution to eradicate bad driving habits. A spokesman for the Bermuda Road Safety Council said a new year brings a new start, and with that, the Bermuda Road Safety Council is encouraging motorists to aim for better driving behaviors. And then it goes on to talk, gave some suggestions as far as safety is concerned for cyclists and drivers or passengers of motorcycle. So some of the advice given: wear a protective helmet that complies with regulations. That is the correct size and securely fastened, and wear light-colored or fluorescent clothing in the daytime and reflective clothing or accessories in the dark. For car drivers, it is suggested tips include making sure that all children under the age of 14 wear a seat belt or sit in an approved child restraint, and to make sure signals such as indicators are used. For pedestrians or joggers, it suggests the safety tips include wear or carry something light-colored, bright or fluorescent in poor daylight conditions, and when it is dark, use reflective materials. The spokesperson added, additionally, when driving or riding, you should always look and listen for emergency services vehicles using flashing blue or red lights, siren, or flashing headlights. When one approaches, do not panic. Consider the route and direction of travel of the vehicle and take appropriate action to create a path to avoid impeding the progress. The aim is to allow the ambulance, fire vehicle, or police car to safely pass your location as well. So here we have the Road Safety Council, or the Bermuda Road Safety Council, out there advocating. Like I said, we had something similar in the Cayman Islands. I don't believe it is around now. I believe all of our advocacy comes from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. But if I am wrong, please let me know. But again, like I said, insurers out there, it may be to your advantage, because I'm sure that there's more money into your pockets or the pocket of your shareholders if you're able to reduce the number of claims that come as a result of vehicular accidents in the Cayman Islands. So we need to continue to press this, because the situation, it is not improving. It is getting worse and worse in the Cayman Islands as regards to bad driving and traffic accidents. Now, we didn't see a whole lot during the holidays. You know, of course, news is limited. People are on vacation and everything else. But to learn that we had over 250 something vehicular accidents in the Cayman Islands during the holiday season, folks, those numbers, they are incredible. Incredible. And the problem that we have is obviously bad driving, poor driving habits. Some persons with lesser skills than are necessary, driving skills that are necessary on our roads as well. The younger folks who feel that they have to go at a blinding speed at all times in a hurry to go nowhere, as well. And the other aggressive drivers, like commercial vehicles on the road, the dump trucks on the road, not realizing their size, and when a cyclist is on the road, how close they come to those cyclists as well. One member of our group who has a camera mounted on the rear of his bicycle as well as the front of the bicycle, and we was able to pick up, this one may have been from a vehicle. The camera may have been in the vehicle, and you have to see, while that cyclist was actually riding in the bicycle lane, how close a vehicle came to that cyclist as well. It is amazing. It is unsafe. It is dangerous, and we need to really get out there and advocate for more road safety. Maybe the government should put out a request for a proposal for an entity to be a non-profit entity to be established to advocate for road safety in the Cayman Islands and in some way fund it. Now, some of you may say, oh gosh, you want government to do everything. Well, I have spoken and I've said to the insurance companies out there that may be something that they may want to look at. Everybody's looking at what the bottom line, improving their bottom line as well. And I believe, and no one knows this better than the insurance companies, because they're the ones who have what do they call them again? The actuaries. They are the ones who employ the actuaries out there who can make projections and everything. And I am sure that an actuary can tell you that if you reduce the number of claims, that more money is going to go into your pockets as well. Not only that, if the number of claims are reduced, then maybe the insurance rates, those premiums may not go up as highly as they usually do as well. So this person says, I want to read what this person has said, need to find a way to kill rats on the Brack Bluff. Person says that they have a small plantation with 85 pumpkins and rats have eaten or destroyed over 30 pumpkins. They say that they set rat traps and killed 46 rats. One friend said he killed like 70 rats all on the bluff. Now, why is my question is, why do we have such a large population of rats on the bluff? Does it have anything to do with the refuse facility up there, what most people would refer to as the dump or the landfill? Is there a problem with that? Do we have, is that where the rat infestation is coming from? Because if you want to solve the problem, you have to find the root of the problem as well, to deal with that. Otherwise, you will just continue to kill rats on your property while the source of the rats is not being addressed as well. Folks, we have spoken about a whole lot today on For the Record, and I want to thank you all very much for that. I also want to share with you, hopefully I can find it, that on Monday we will continue our discussions in relation to bear with me. Addressing issues, with our older folks in the Cayman Islands, and we have programs that have now been designed, and at least once a month we will have persons on here, and as such we will have them on Monday. Want to say a word of advice to the communications personnel in the Ministry of Health as well. Yes, we have a habit of using, we like to use acronyms in the Cayman Islands but when you're sending out a press release, remember that people are reading it and may not be familiar with the acronyms. So your continued use of the acronyms and not actually including what the acronyms stand for helps to confuse the situation, makes it more difficult for those persons who are reading it, and it seems as if you're assuming that the persons that you are sending this information to, that they are familiar with all of these acronyms as well. So bear in mind that you're writing these press releases, these news releases, these articles, not for yourself, but a public that is consuming it as well. So please bear that in mind. I know I'm jumping on everyone today, but that's part of the job here, to keep people alert. Let them know in an honest way, what we feel as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy. Taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman